Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 20. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again it is time to have a look back in the last 7 days, the last week, what has actually happened in here. We are now at week 20, and plenty of things has happened in the past week. We've also been busy actually creating this particular video here, trying to explain to you when to sell, when to buy. So that one has been quite popular, quite a few views, as we can see here already. We're going to go into a bit further detail later on also in the program of what exactly this particular one covers. And we have a massive also change again with the IG accounts in here. There was another broker issue last week that has affected quite a few traders and also us, mostly just on the demo trading. We don't really have any live trading in here. We're going to go back and show you exactly what has happened. And then also if that has affected you or not, everything will be explained during this particular video in here. And the other part is there was a 90% discount. That discount is out the door, but the video actually covers over another release of a new EA. We have gotten our hands on it in here. We're going to also explain to you a bit more what that is all about. So stay tuned through the entire video, because we're also going to cover again here some of the copy link trading that Expert Forex is offering. We have a lot of signals on this particular post that has come out, and you can see exactly how much that has done in the past week. But let's get into it. Let's have a look how the week went. So once again, this week here, there's not really much happening regarding Yieldnodes and Decenomy. We are in on the website. We go straight into the order coin reserves here just to see if there's any changes. And good to see at least that a lot of them are changing. First of all, the coins owned up here, you can see there's a change. So that is good news. We can see the 777 has actually had 11 new masternodes running. We have also a ZR, there's another 2, and the ones that actually count down here, at least for us, 286 to 287, so there's a new one, so not too many. And on the SAP side, we also have an additional 5 for that particular week in here. But when it comes to the coin value itself, pretty much halted everything. You can see this is where we were last week on the 11th. And pretty much nothing has happened. There's a few buys in here. Other than that, the price has completely stagnated, similar to the news coming out of Decenomy and Yieldnodes. If we have a look at our staking, so then we can see that our SAP coins, 110,828 now. So obviously a lot of SAP coins, but again, if the value is pretty much 0, then that doesn't really matter too much, but we're going to keep going. You never really know. 2.3% and 2,562 SAP is actually what we got from the past week. Things has slowed down. And again, we can see that the individual stakings that we get has gone from 93.10 and now down to 90.65. So it continues to have a bit of a drop in here, which is a funny little thing just for the SAP itself, because if we go on the PNY, that has actually also surpassed now 112,483. So there is now more PNY than we have SAP. Certainly you can see the reason why here in 2025, starting off March, April, and now May. We have done just for this week 5.6% or 6,251 PNY. Obviously plenty of coins, but if the price is not there, well, then it's irrelevant, at least for now. So going to Bitcoin in the last week. So we obviously saw the prior week in there that we again shattered the glass ceiling of 100,000. Since then, it has actually stayed above 100,000 here. So, which is obviously good to see for a lot of the holders of Bitcoin. It is trading pretty much sideways, as you can see in here. So the red circle is where we left it last time, 104,500 roughly. Since then, it has been trading somewhere around 101,000 up until 107. That is still a small window for the Bitcoin, which is obviously very volatile. It has dropped quite a bit in value here in the last 12 hours, as you'll notice. So it will be interesting to see if that's going to continue, or there is some resistance here now again around the 102, 103,000 mark. While we wait for that, then the Wave Liberator for week 20, the top 5 EAs in here is doing quite well. The Great British Pounds came actually in at $43 or 4.3% this week, followed by the New Zealand Japanese, $40, 4%, and then Euro Swiss francs, 37 or 3.7%, with the US Japanese at 35 or 3.5%, and then Aussie Japanese, $34, 3.4%. So all of them very, very closely together. $188 or 3.8% for this particular one with the 5 $1,000 accounts. That is definitely not too bad in our book in here. And also if you have a look at the portfolio itself, we can see the balance 262,000, equity 255, only floating profit and loss is around 7,000. So nice and low with a monthly return of 1.1 or 11% when we calculate that into $1,000 accounts, which we should. Trade win still 67.7, so it's a bit low, but cashing in quite nicely. Trades per day is 13, and we have 636 days in here. Plenty of data, plenty of updates. Now we'll also have all of these Wave Liberator. They were on the IG demo accounts in here, but we have 2 that we had to take off in the prior week here due to these accounting issues. It's the US dollar, Euro US dollar, and then the Great British Pounds CAD. These 2 we had to put off, set up new accounts in here, and then hopefully again we'll get them back on the copy-link service. In the meantime, let's have a look at the entire portfolio to see how it did. Last week was a good week, 344, very good on average. And pretty much this week, very, very similar, $329. We're very happy with this. If you look back at some of the other numbers, it is exactly where we're supposed to be. And just look at this beautiful line here, just cashing in over and over again. Same thing actually for the RSI Liberator, also cashing in. The top one for this week was Aussie Japanese with $71 or 7.1%. With the Great British Pound, Swiss francs, 58 or 5.8%, and then closely followed by the New Zealand Japanese, $56, 5.6%, and then the US Swiss francs, $46, 4.6%. And the last one on the top 5 is the Aussie USD, $41, 4.1%. And overall, that portfolio of 5 accounts in here, so that is 5 $1,000 accounts, made $272 or 5.4%. equivalent to about 20% in a month, so more than approved. Again, here also look at the nice graph that we have. We have a floating profit and loss that has come down from last week also at minus 10,790, so that's good. We have a high equity of 235 still, and you'll notice here the monthly return for the RSI is a bit lower, so it's 0.9 or 9% on $1,000 accounts. Monthly or weekly returns is about 2% with trade wins of 66.5, and then trades per day around 16 with a history now of 405 days. And you'll find a lot of these on the copy-link service in here. We have to put some of the leftover ones, we have to get them added in, but I believe a lot of traders were actually trying to clean up the mess in the past week that we had with the IG accounts. And you can look at the graph. This was actually the last time the IG account had some issues. This was back in August again. The numbers came out scrambled, but not so scrambled this particular week in here because we have $420 coming in, and that is as good as last week and the prior week in here. Very happy with this one. That's actually what happened. Sometimes it stalls out. Then when the market comes in again, don't forget this is the RSI, so it's overbought, oversold. That's where it actually picks up its money. Hedge EA, that has been a bit on the low side with the profits in here. For week 20, it's doing quite well. Great British Pound, Swiss francs at $51 or 5.1%. So that is the top one. The Euro Swiss francs coming in at $41, 4.1%, with Aussie USD 34 or 3.4%, with the Aussie CAD $27, 2.7%, and then New Zealand Swiss francs $16 or 1.6%, albeit on the low side for the top 5, $168 or 3.4%, and that also takes the entire portfolio here. So from the still floating profit or loss, it's actually quite high at minus 11,300, but it has come down. The monthly returns is still calculated at around 1.5 or 15%. We do believe it's going to come further down again after the last sanctions. So again, for the different tariffs, then that actually went from 1.2 up to about 15. It cashed in quite nicely, as you can see on the graph up here. Then it came back and flattened out again. So we believe something similar will happen in the next weeks and months. With a trade win of 70%, it's still doing quite well. Trades per day 19.8, and then a history of 118 days. Still makes this a very good EA. And we have some of the accounts on the copy link service already. None of these accounts has been actually affected with the IG demo accounts issues that we have seen in here. So we can go straight back and see how the portfolio did. $150, as you can see, which is a lot better than the last couple of weeks. We tried to explain to you here last time also that because there was such a heavy trend in here, it cashed in back in end of March, beginning of April. After that, the price has to come back again because the trades run in one way, and then you have the whole series of trades open the other way. And that's the reason why now that it's recovering, it simply can't cash in the same manner as it did here before. But obviously all of this will reset over time. In the meantime, the simple grid trading still working quite well for week 20 here. The Great British Pounds New Zealand came in at a very good $82 or 8.2% just for 1 week. Don't forget that it's not a month. The US Swiss francs is at $71, 7.1%, and then Euro New Zealand, $60, 6%, and then Euro USD, $59, 5.9%, with the Aussie Swiss francs at $56, 5.6%, and all of these, again, you can put these on 5 $1,000 accounts, and for this particular portfolio here, you would have made $328, 6.6%, and that is definitely good enough in my book. I know that we still don't have any of these ones online for the copy link service, but we will have that on our website in the future. The reason is the history of only 32 days. It is going quite well, as you can see, but we need a few more weeks maybe, and also everything got a bit delayed for this reason again with the ID accounts. But you can see balance started off with 20 accounts, $1,000 each. Now the equity is even up here at 20,200, so we are already in plus, which is a bit unusual, but that's again because of the nature of this particular grid trader in here, actually stopping and closing all the accounts and then starting again. That makes sure that the drawdown doesn't get too big. And then monthly returns is very good, 11.9% with a weekly return of 2.7, so I really like that. Look at the trade wins here, 78%. And then trades per day, we have about 9.5 over the history of 32 days here that we have at the moment. But the week that we had is the best week so far for the simple grid trader. Obviously, we have, instead of 16, we now have 20 accounts. So that also helps getting to the $754. Last week was certainly on the low side, and I tried to explain in that video here also why that was. So the nature of the game here seems to be working quite well. And all of this grid trading, this is our video series for the new grid trading, trying to explain to you from basically start to finish. So we had the first one here, the Forex Grid Trading Explains, basically sets the boundaries for the grid itself. And then the next one here was the gap and lot size hack. So telling you exactly how to divide these things up, how to divide up the gaps, what to do with the lot sizing to make sure you don't break the piggy bank in here and your accounts. And after that, we basically wrote the money wave in here. So this was the wave liberator that we told you exactly how this can be set up. And the new one we did last week here, know when to sell and buy. That is actually for the RSI Liberator that we have. So if you also have that particular EA, I definitely urge you to go and have a closer look at that particular video in here. We will explain to you exactly how it's being set up, what you should test, and what you should test together in order to get some of the best results. In the meantime, we're going to head over to the Lucky Trader for week 20. The top 5 EAs here is the Euro Swiss francs with $47, 4.7%. Great British Pounds USD, a bit lower with the $31 or 3.1%, then followed by the Aussie USD $27 or 2.7%, with the Aussie CAD at $24 2.4%, and then Great British Pound CAD $22 2.2%, with a total of $152 or 3% for the week. Obviously, that particular portfolio in here would give you around 12% for a full month if those numbers continue. And obviously, the lucky trader is not only lucky, it's also very profitable. The floating profit or loss at the moment also down to 10,400. We have an equity of 163,000. We have 16 accounts at the moment. We should maybe bring it up to 20. I really like this particular EA in here. Monthly returns is 1.3 on a $10,000 account or 13 on a 1,000. And I definitely suggest you put that on $1,000 accounts with a couple of other ones similar to what we show here for the top 5. The weekly return is about 3% then, and then trade wins is a high 69.6%. So that is approved. Trades per day 19.8. So it is very aggressive on the trading, and we have 197 days, almost 200 days now of trading information for the lucky trader, where you can find some of the items here on the coupling service again. We know there's a few that we should be adding, and hopefully we'll be able to do that very shortly. But in the meantime, let's go and have a look at the portfolio overall. $219, not exactly at the highest level that we have seen here before, but it is recovering on a couple of currency pairs in here. So at least the numbers are also here going in the right direction. The bill trader for week 20, well, sometimes it doesn't cash in much, and then when it does, have a look at the Aussie Swiss francs, $207 or 20.7%. Yes, it is still only for a week, but obviously basically the numbers should be good enough for 2 months in itself. The Aussie New Zealand came in at $72 or 7.2%, with Great British Pounds CAD $59, 5.9%, and then New Zealand Swiss francs $26, 2.6%, and then Aussie CAD only $14, 1.4%. So the total $377 or 9.4 if you have this in a portfolio. So definitely worth having a look at the bell trader. We have made some changes, as I mentioned last week in here, and hopefully they will come through as they are settling in and be a bit more stable, and all of them can cash in a similar fashion. In the meantime, let's have a look at the entire portfolio. The portfolio here is having a lower floating profit and loss at minus 8,816 in here. So that is obviously good to see. We have monthly returns, and that is a bit on the low side, only 8% on $1,000 accounts, or 2% weekly. Trade wins is now a high 70% straight. The problem with the profits in here is the trades per day is actually only running at around 7. But we have a history showing everything for the last 165 days, so that at least is good news. We had a couple of IT demo accounts that also had, again, some hiccups, as I mentioned earlier, but none of them were the coupling service overall. So these ones are still available, and then hopefully we'll get the other ones up and running with Expert Forex when he's available to try and add some of them in there. So the entire portfolio did 386. That is certainly better than the last couple of weeks. And as I mentioned, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we actually reset the bell trader. So some of the grids, we are doing it in a new and different way here now. And hopefully those numbers will be a bit more stable. It has created a bit of a headache for the bell trader to try and to get this right over time on all currency pairs. But that's the nature of the game sometimes. We also have to have a look at Alex and Expert Forex, and I mentioned here earlier on the 90% discount. Unfortunately, that has expired. It expired already over the weekend in here, but one of the items that it was all about here was the new simple RSI EA. So that was pretty much putting down the website itself. There was a lot of traffic in here, so people had a bit of an issue trying to buy it out, but it succeeded at the end of the day. And a lot of people got their hands on this at a discounted level. There is still some discounts for this particular EA if you are a member of the premium forum with Expert Forex. So I suggest you go by and see exactly what the price is here at the moment. Also, Alex had the same issues. He also has a lot of IG accounts in here, and there was broker errors. And in this particular one, it was a short little video here being a bit funny, where basically IG made him 1.6 million in just one day. Again, this particular error in here, it actually looked something like this. We had quite a few graphs. You'll have a cell in here, and you can just see a long red line. Part of that particular one in here, in this particular case, we actually had, you can see we made 3,951, 5,315, and 5,370. So our account pretty much jumped up from the 10,001. Made a profit of just, what is that, 10, 14, 15,000. And the problem was there is no price here on the accounting side. So that means whatever price that it was bought at, then it goes back to zero. And that's why some of the numbers is pretty big in here overall. The same thing again, you can maybe see the blue lines that you have in here. You can see normally you will have a price, and we can see we have a profit of $1, $8 in here, and then all of a sudden we have some big minuses, minus 2,671, minus 2,676. And again, the price is missing. So these trades are, again, ghost trades in here. And then you had the normal trades at 171 and 171 here again. It pretty much lost out on the price and went from zero and whatever it was bought at here. And we can see even more accounts had similar issues here also. Very, very annoying, but all of it was basically due to a pricing issue. It didn't pull out the price overall. So you might be thinking, okay, so what are the impacts in here? Well, for the Wave Liberator, so this link 156C, and that one we actually removed already. So the only one is 162C. It had originally 3 traders. We then put the account up in here. So to basically stop trading once all the open trades was there, and that actually happened on Friday. So that is not available anymore on the Expert Forex platform. And then we set up a new, and this time around, it's a Blackpool account instead. We don't really want to touch too much on the IG at the moment. And then we have the RSI Liberator. Again, here we had some profits of trades going on here also. But again, we have now put this one on, so it will close once all the open items are in there. So 179C. And then we have 180C. That was one of the best accounts we had with the Great British Pounds Japanese. I know a lot of people like this one, so I do apologize. But it's now closed. There was no open trades. Pretty much closed the account down. And then a new one has been set up. Hopefully we can get this particular currency pair added again to the trading in the future. On the Bell Trader, we had 3 accounts where we also had some issues. And as I mentioned before, none of them were on the coupling service. We have deleted those and added new accounts. That's why if you go to our website, you will figure out that some of these items are all of a sudden they're new. They're just starting to trade again. And then we have the Lucky Trader. We have just one link, 193C. It didn't have any traders connected at the time. So we managed to close this one off and also created a new account for it. So hopefully we are back on track. Unfortunately, Alex has also been very, very busy because normally on the website we update the account risk analysis information where we put all the floating profit and loss. We take the negative weeks. But as you can see, it's last updated 10th of May. So normally he does that on the Saturday for the weekend, but everybody has been very busy trying to change the accounts, trying to clean up the IG demo account mess in here. And so did we. So we're happy that we come out, and hopefully next week I'll be able to present this to you once again. In the meantime, the new portfolio that Alex has put together, reason for selection was actually on the 4th of May, as you can see in here. And these are then the gains from 1 week's time. You can see $1,000 accounts. and $10,000 accounts. So if you need it, you need 26,000, or you can go in and use cent accounts, and then you only need $260. You'll notice that they are all almost nice and positive, apart from one in here, even though it has 35% gains in the last 8 weeks. So all the ones with the C as usual is ours, 188C, 160, 162. So there's quite a few in here doing extremely well, and also at the same time they have extremely low drawdown, and that's what we like to see at the end of the day, because that way we know it will cash in. Just have a look at link 150C in here. So this is the Wave Liberator, and again it has done 46.7%, so pretty much stands for most of everything that has come in here. So in just 1 week you would have made $1,262. So again, these are very, very important, and as you are mixing and matching them in here, you can do it similar on the top 5 that I have also shown you here, or you can go and pick whatever you want from our website directly, which ones are the ones that you believe is going to be the better ones on a long-term trading platform. So this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, plenty of things has happened. We are obviously trying to inform you all the time, try to set out new tutorial videos, explain exactly what it is that we are doing, also to try help you and your trading strategies in the future. We also have a new EA that we haven't discussed yet that we are currently testing. We'll have to see how that goes. It's still very early days, but obviously the most important thing here now again is the IG account errors that is there. We understand from Expert Forex that nobody has had these trades on their real live accounts in here. They haven't transferred over from the trade center. The trade center itself is actually the one that uses from our accounts over to the individual traders here. And obviously we are not the only trader that is giving out signals, but it looks like all of this has actually been limited only to our demo accounts, which is great news. That means that nobody has lost money. On the other hand, obviously some of the accounts has also made a lot of money, but it doesn't look that has tracked through here either. So again, it is good, it is stable, and obviously the idea here is long-term gains overall, and that is again trying to spread the risk not only on individual EAs but also on different brokers. You never know exactly what's going to happen next. So I hope you enjoyed this video here. Please give us a thumbs up and a like, and I'll see you on one of my next videos. Until then, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.